everyone, welcome to Fine Moon Rising. This is Gemini's July 2025 Tarot and Energy Sigil. So right now I'm pulling the cards that will direct your sigil. And how do you create a sigil? You pull some cards, you get an affirmation, you write the affirmation down, you take all the consonants out of this affirmation and any repeat consonants, and then you create a drawing. You can do this at home any way you please. So what you have is the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Wands, and the Chariot card. What this says to me is that now is the time. What are you waiting for? What's going on? What is stopping you? There is no perfect time. The time is now. Okay? And so for Gemini, there's no waiting around. And your affirmation, your sigil will be step towards your goals. Even if you can't see what the end goal will be, you can't see the future 100%, there's just reason for you to take steps and step towards your goal. Okay, let's go into the astrology real quick, and then we'll go ahead with the tarot, and you'll see the tarot popping up shortly. So Uranus in Gemini brings focus on communication and rapid changes, right? And that can be communication in the world around you, how things are changing, how things are moving, how we're using communication tools, that kind of thing. You could actually be a person that is involved in communications as well. But more on a local level with you as the energy, rapid changes in personal development and how you are communicating, how you are being presented to the world, how you are presenting yourself to the world. I feel like sometimes we can look back on our life 10 years ago and think, that was me then. But then you fast forward and look at yourself now, and it is entirely different. So I do feel like you're at a point in your astrology, especially in the energy of July, where you may have these kind of flashes of past versus flashes of future. And it kind of brings you into this center point that allows you to kind of stop and see where you're headed and see where you're going. Okay, so there is a lot of personal development in July available to you, so you can be developing your career, big career advancements. Also just how you're developing as a human being, how you're moving through the world. So this is a little bit more, it's like a little bit more of a big change for you. You do have the Death card in your overarching energy, by the way. So this is an energy of change, transformation, and I feel like it's how people are going to be seeing you in the world and how you are presenting yourself, because you have reached a point in your life where you are changed. You have changed into somebody that is possibly unrecognizable to other people or people that you have known in the past. And it's not necessarily, for a bad way. It's just evolution. You're evolving type thing. Okay. The Sun in Venus brings opportunity to change your finances. So finances could be a little bit sketchy. And I feel like June, there might have been a hiccup or something maybe you had to spend some money on. Also something health-wise that you maybe had to deal with in June. But I do feel like there might have been something and you're rebounding from that. July, it's like a bounce back. You're bouncing back from that. And with the Sun, it's action with your finances. So you're meeting opportunities head on to advance any of those financial opportunities. So it can be having a side hustle. It can be something like your job gives you more work, such that you get bonuses, something like that. Your business expands, that type of thing is all available to you. But if you're thinking of making any career moves, there is a caution of be quiet about it. So, and that's why I say communications were super important for Gemini in July. And I feel like there is this energy of taking an in-breath, so in yoga, there's the in-breath and there's the out-breath, right? Out-breath tends to be more active and in-breath tends to be more, you pull it in and you tighten up, that type of thing. So I feel like what you're doing is you're pulling that energy in, and you're kind of, it's a calm before the storm. It's a reevaluation period. It is a period where you're just a little bit quieter than you had been in the past. And I think that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing for you. Okay, expect to change your mind about what you need in connections. So your connections are always evolving. Everybody's always evolving. And if they don't, then, usually they fall away. Usually if you evolve and not the same pace as somebody else, then the connection will fall away. Well, I feel like in your connections, you are being very vocal about what you need out of it, very honest, very open, and then seeing, if people can meet that, because maybe they can't, and that's okay. And so you're being very open and honest about what you need out of life in general, but also in your connections. So we do have this 9 of Swords in the past. So that's why I feel like there was a hiccup maybe in June or something like that you needed to deal with. And it caused some consternation, some worries about finances, worries about how you're going forward in life. And I feel like you're getting over on that because we're headed towards the 3 of Cups. And there's a 3 of Cups, and underneath it is a 3 of Wands, which means these are starting new things. Watching those ships come in, watching things advance, watching those finances improve, watching more opportunities arise, and deciding what opportunity is going to be best for you at the time. So we do have this 4 of Swords here, and that's why I say there is this in-breath, there is this of watching that the tide go out, while you're just kind of sitting and chilling and deciding when you're going to get in the water type situation. And so there's this 4 of Swords of just watching it kind of happen, watching things around you, evaluating with fresh eyes your life and how you're presenting yourself to the world and how maybe others are receiving you. So there's something here about branding, and not somebody branding you, but maybe you have a brand, or kind of developing that as a presence for you, because maybe you need it for your career, maybe you need it for your business, something like that. That will come out, and you'll finally settle into that. We do have this Page of Swords here, and this Page of Swords, of course, they're learning cards, but these are tiny epiphanies, and these might show up in random places. I feel like there might be guides, or sometimes guides can be anyone. They could be your neighbor that maybe you never talk to. They're, several doors down or whatever, and they come up to you and they say something that just kind of like hits the spot. You're like, that makes me think, that's a guide. And then you never see them again because maybe they move away, or they're just like hermits. Who knows? I don't know. But there's something here about people showing up and giving you these teeny little key points that are going to allow you to evolve further and allow you to continue to like recentering yourself and evaluate things around you. And so that's that Page of Swords. We do have the 6 of Pentacles here, and the 6 of Pentacles in your near future, it is very much a balancing act. And there is a sneaky 2 of Pentacles that fell out on the side when I was kind of trying to take a picture for you of this tarot spread, because I dole out the spreads when I try and do the voiceover at the same time, so I never know what's going to happen. This is just all new to me here. But the 6 of Pentacles with the 2 of Pentacles, I feel like they come together, and I feel like with those Pentacles energy, it is very much budgeting your time, budgeting your energy. And there is reason for you to kind of monitor your expenditure. And there is something here about health. And I might have talked about earlier, I'm not really sure. But part of your evolution, part of this transformation, part of this in-breath is very much focused on health as well. And so there's reason for you to pay attention to your diet. You might be kind of simplifying, and I feel like greening up stuff. That could be greening things in your house. That could be reducing energy consumption. That could be actually actively gardening or something like that if you are a plant person. I don't know. But there's something here about making things more efficient for you in your life in order to streamline stuff. We do have this 5 of Swords here, and you've been attacking things like not necessarily on the up and up all the time, and not necessarily telling everybody what you're doing, you're just doing. And that's fine, especially if you're talking about career, we don't need to be broadcasting any of that stuff. But there's kind of an energy of, you do have to communicate with your people that you are in connection with. So there's something here about opening your mouth and discussing things and seeing where everybody's at, where you're at, and then go forward from there. Seven of Pentacles, making choices, of course. Your environment is one of choice. I feel like you are at a precipice at this time in July where you do have to take that pause. You do have to take that energy out of a lot of things around you. I feel like this is a sucking back of the energy, right? If you've put a lot of energy out into the world in June, now it's time to suck that right on back, and it's kind of using it for yourself in order to kind of recuperate before you step forward and make those decisions, right? Four of Cups is the advice. There are some things we got to let go of, some stuff that's just not going to fit in your new paradigm. So we do have to let go of some things. We do have to fill our cup up. We do have to pause. We do have to evaluate. We do have to take others into consideration, that type of thing. And as these are your close connections, you know, they're going to be there for you. We do have this Queen of Swords here. And I feel like this Queen of Swords, it is a lioness with a sword on her back, and she's got a crown. She is the queen, you know, but there is also a new moon. She is the fresh start. This is very much a fresh start month for you. And I feel like you just need, especially mid-month, there is that reason to pause. There is that reason to reevaluate before you start actively going into August. So this is that time of pause before the action, calm before the storm, reevaluation, but it's also, you know, looking for those opportunities as they arise. You're taking all the energy of worry and stress and everything and pressure off things, and you're pulling it back in. You know, you're pulling that energy back in, and then it's going to allow you to move forward in a more calm, organized, as well as with profound direction. So in your future, you're going to be able to make logical decisions and move very swiftly. And they're going to be, it's all going to be logical, right? And that's where you're headed. So let's see here. Okay. So as we continue on, let's see if there is anything else that we need to see. Oh, did we discuss the Wheel of Fortune? I think we did. But the Wheel of Fortune is that pushing your future forward, right? And we talked about leveling up into a different level. You are not the same as you were 10 years ago. You are not the same as you were 15 years ago. Your path is changing. And I do feel like there's 3 paths and they're all converging. I feel like things in your life are coming together. And so there is, and also 3, the Mariah sisters, right? The hands of fate. So there are 3 sisters that are pushing the hands of fate. And for you, the Wheel of Fortune is that fated wheel. But you absolutely have control over that. There is free will, but there also is destiny. And destiny, of course, is those lessons that we are learning in this lifetime. And there could also be breaking of ancestral patterns. So I do feel like you are pushing the hands of fate forward. And this is how you are going about your future at this time. Excuse me, I am losing my voice. Okay, that's a signal for me to be quiet. All right. If you enjoyed this reading, Gemini, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.